County's last deep coal mine at Thoresby due to stop operating within days. You've been hearing about our increased reliance on other sources of energy. Probably the most controversial of all, of course, is the process of fracking, when a high-pressure water mixture is used to release gas trapped in shale rock deep beneath the Earth's surface. And this method is widely used already, of course, in places like the United States. It's yet, though, really to gain a foothold in Britain. Nevertheless, Nottinghamshire's rich geology means that there are a handful of sites earmarked for exploratory drilling, including near the village of Misson in north of Retford in Nottinghamshire. BBC Radio Nottingham's political reporter Peter Saul has been to find out more.
I've come to the far north of Nottinghamshire to meet Jane Watson and Rob Neal, two villagers who, like many here in Misson, are extremely concerned about the potential of fracking here.
This is the road that enters the village. This is the heart of the village with the village green. But there's only one road in and out of the village that comes from Bawtry through to...
A short drive outside the village and we reach the edge of the proposed site. We can't see much. It's all fenced off, set back from the road and next to flat arable farmland. But Jane tells me there's more to it than meets the eye.
The area that we're standing in at the moment, as you can see, it's a beautiful rural area. We have a really important site of special scientific interest at the back here, which is known for moths, bats, all 5 species of owl. Greater crested newt has been recorded there. But particularly this area around here is actually pristine farmland. We have a lot of organic farming goes around here.
Rob, fracking is obviously a highly controversial process. This isn't just a case of NIMBYism, though, is it?
No, absolutely not. In fact, the interest from myself started in a coalbed methane exploratory site, which was located not far from here. And it was actually witnessing the high-speed turnaround from the site creation to them actually instigating drilling, and the noise and the impact that had both to the residents and to the sort of local environment, that first drew my attention to what could possibly happen.
Jane, do you accept that fracking can be part of the solution in terms of meeting our future energy needs?
Just looking at carbon emissions in particular, we know that methane is a far more potent greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide is. The government pushes that we need to be using more natural gas and getting away from coal, and we know that there are some collieries that are closing down imminently. So yes, methane can be a cleaner gas, but in this case, with drilling lots of wells, it can only be a cleaner gas if we don't have a lot of leakage of methane from the wells and from any associated infrastructure, and that it's not at the expense of renewable energy. And I think this is another thing that we as a group of, and many of the other frack-free groups have been into, is that you cannot be anti-fracking as well as be anti-wind, solar and all the other renewable forms of energy. So you've got to be supportive of something.
Rob now drives us south of the village. Here there's another site earmarked for development, but the villagers aren't so worried about this one. Rob, this is a site for a potential solar farm, isn't it?
Yeah, the planning application's in and we're looking forward to seeing it get passed through. So the aim is to eventually produce 20 megawatts of clean solar energy, which will look after this village and the surrounding villages. You know, from our perspective, if we're going to be a village known for creating energy, we'd much rather it came from here rather than fracking.
Much like large parts of Nottinghamshire, the area around Misson is a working landscape with some light industry. But back at her home in the village, Jane is determined to take a stand against fracking.
We're just ordinary people. We're not, the tree-hugging sort of NIMBYs that we're often made out to be. We're just ordinary people with families and jobs and lives and real lives in communities that matter to us. And when we see that being threatened by the potential of fracking, and not through just one exploratory well, we have to look forward on this and think this can be 10, 20 wells on a pad. How many pads do you need to get all that gas out? This is major. This is major industrialisation of our rural countryside, and we don't want it, and we will fight it.
It's Jane Watson, who's from Misson Community Action Group, speaking to Peter Saul. Well,